Fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one crazy ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. #1 on Facebook.
There you go. All righty, Cooper. Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one incredibly awesome and amazing ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. #1 on YouTube. Tonight we have with us Cooper Fritz. And I promised Cooper I did hit the record button. Sorry about that.
Fine.
So Cooper, let's talk about your racing career. I know we tried to do it a few minutes ago. Let's go ahead and start this up again. So Cooper, where did it all begin for you?
I started racing go-karts at Bliss International Speedway in the novice class.
Okay, novice class. And did you have, when you first got into a go-kart, were you nervous quite a bit or not?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous to begin off with, but I slowly got into it and went on.
Okay. So how long did it take you to pick up your first feature win in novice
I think
go-kart?
it took me a year, maybe year and a half to
Year and a half.
get my first win.
So Cooper, so from novice go-kart, then where did you move to?
After novice, I moved up to a junior 1 class at the same track at Bliss.
Okay. So junior 1 class, did it take you quite a while to get a win there in that class?
No, not as long as it took me to finally get my first win in the novice class. I think it took me maybe a few weeks, maybe a month at the most.
Okay. So after you won, your first race in novice, and then you won in the junior classes, what is your victory lane celebration like?
I don't really have that much of a big celebration. I mainly just give everybody a hug.
Okay. So Cooper, then after you got done with the junior classes, where did you move to from there?
After that, me and my family made the decision to go up to a micro sprint at Lime Rock Speedway.
Okay, micro sprint at Lime Rock Speedway. So was that huge learning curve for you to move into a micro sprint?
Now, it was definitely a learning curve with the different track conditions and the different technique in driving from asphalt to dirt.
From asphalt to dirt, okay. Do you like running on dirt more than you do asphalt now?
Yeah, dirt's definitely more fun. There's more to it.
Okay. So Cooper, when it comes to your racing and stuff like that, what is the story behind your racing number?
It was 57 was my dad's number when he raced a couple ice and go-karts.
Okay. And, we have that sprint car driver out here, Jake Peters from Wagner, South Dakota, that drove a 57X sprint car out here. That was pretty cool. He had a lot of success in his racing career. So Cooper, now that you're racing micro sprints, what class of micro sprints are you racing right now in micro sprints?
Well, when I first started off in micros, I started in the restricted class, getting the championship in the first year.
Ooh,
and after
very cool.
After that, I realized I could move up into the adult class and 600 open with no restrictor plate in it.
Okay. So what's the difference between a restrictor and a 600? It's open class.
Pretty much the throttle response and with the restrictor plate, I think you have around 40 lost horsepower.
Okay.
So it really narrows it down.
Okay. So Cooper, being you're driving the 57 car and you're racing the 600 open class now. So Cooper, who do you have for sponsors on your race car?
I have one sponsor at the moment, and that's Dandy's Landscaping and Lawn Care.
Okay. And who did you have besides Dandy's Landscaping and Lawn Care on your car before?
I had Super Tires owned by my grandpa, but he passed away a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Cooper. I dealt with some loss last year too. I lost my dad, so that was pretty hard too.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, thank you very much. So Cooper, let's talk now. Okay, when it comes to your race car and the day-to-day maintenance on it, and tearing it down and rebuilding it for the season, do you take do you play a huge part in that, helping with that project?
Yeah, I usually go out in the garage with my dad every week whenever he goes out, and I usually clean the car and reset everything.
Okay. So, getting into the reset of everything. So what do you have to do to reset a micro sprint?
So usually there's torsion bars. Usually, sometimes if the track's a certain condition, you have to put a softer or heavier bar on it to
Okay.
tighten or loosen the car.
Okay. So Cooper, okay. Being we're talking about the day-to-day maintenance, what is your favorite type of track to race on?
Definitely slick because it brings out the driver, not the car.
Brings out the driver and not the car. So have you been on some really slick racetracks?
Usually Lime Rock almost every week it slickens off just how I like it.
Okay, very cool. So Cooper, can you read the track really well now?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. It's definitely something that I have to work on as a driver.
Okay. And when you're working, because your dad's your crew chief, right?
hmm
So when you're working with your dad, the crew chief, is the communication between you guys really good at the racetrack as far as, okay, this is what needs to be done, this is, that type of thing there?
Yeah, sort of. I usually tell him how the car felt going around the track in every corner, so he
Okay.
cannot go off of that.
Okay. So Cooper, let's talk about now, what is your 5-year plan with the racing?
5-year plan would probably be maybe just sticking with micros, just trying to get better and working our way up to bigger races and
Okay.
winning some.
Okay. And how about your 10-year plan with the racing?
10-year plan would definitely be cool to get a ride in a midget with somebody.
Would you, okay, talking about midgets and kind of going from there, would you like to run a World of Outlaw sprint cars at some point in your career too?
That'd be cool if I had a ride for it and sponsors to pay for it and everything.
Yeah. So are you looking for sponsors for your micro sprint program for the 2022 season and beyond?
Yeah, it'd be nice to find some new sponsors.
Okay. So if there's anybody going to be out here watching this racing show with me and Cooper Fritz and the 57 micro sprint team, reach out to Cooper Fritz and his dad, Scott, because they'd appreciate the sponsorship on Cooper's race car as he gets further into his racing career. And he goes from 2022 and beyond. So Cooper, let's talk about your racing nickname. Do you have a racing nickname that you got when you got into racing?
Yeah, I usually have 2 racing nicknames, and that's Super Cooper and Fritzy.
Okay, Super Cooper and Fritzy. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I've seen some pretty unique ones myself, Cooper. There's a kid that races big time stock cars out here on dirt, and his nickname is the Game Changer. So that's pretty cool.
Haven't heard that one before.
The Game Changer, changing the way the game is being played. So Cooper, and mine is the Full Throttle Rockstar. So that's pretty cool. So Cooper, let's go now. Okay, so when you're in your race car and you're getting ready to go on the track, what is some stuff that helps get you focused to go on the racetrack?
Usually when I'm sitting in the lineup shoot, I usually just rest my head and just take deep breaths and focus on what my goal is.
Okay. So you don't have a particular song that you listen to kind of get you in the zone to go out there and take the track?
No, not really.
Okay. What type of music do you like to listen to then when, if you're looking for a good song to help get you in the zone?
Usually rock.
Okay. Like nowadays rock or classic rock?
Classic, definitely.
Oh, definitely. All righty. Very cool, Cooper. So Cooper, now let's talk about, okay, when you're in your race car and you're strapped in and you're on the track, what is the worst thing that's happened to you on the racetrack so far?
Haven't really had anything too bad happen. I got wrecked at the beginning of the season, which put our end in tonight. It wasn't too bad though.
Okay. All righty. So Cooper, you didn't get hurt at all, right?
No.
Okay. So Cooper, what is on your radar going into the 2022 season, as far as where you want to race at, that type of thing there?
No, we're planning on going to Greenwood Valley Option Track in PA, and then we're planning on doing the Hyper Speed Week, at least the ones that I'm old enough to race in.
Okay.
Then just run the season at Lime Rock.
All righty. So Cooper, I know you said you live in New York. What is the town you live in?
Clarence and Buffalo.
Clarence and Buffalo. Okay. How far is that from Lime Rock?
It's about an hour, 45 minutes.
Not bad driving time, not bad. So Cooper, definitely. Now let's talk about, okay, what do you have in the race car to help protect you from getting hurt?
I have a full containment seat and I have a 5-point harness, fire suit, fireproof gloves.
Okay. So, do you, when you come to the 5-point harness, do you guys put new 5-point harness seatbelts in every year, or how does that
Uh,
work?
Usually there's an expiration date on when the seatbelts go bad.
Okay. Alrighty. And how about your racing seat? Do you switch those out every year too, or?
No, once you outgrow them, that's time to get rid of them. You can keep them for really however long.
Okay. Alrighty. So Cooper, when you go to the racetrack and you're getting ready for your race weekend and stuff like that, what's some of your favorite things to eat at the racetrack?
Definitely cheeseburger with fries.
Oh, nachos with meat and chili cheese fries are two of my favorites, definitely. So, Cooper, when it comes to you at the racetrack and stuff like that, do you have things that you will do on race weekend and won't do on race weekend as far as superstition wise?
Not really. I really just go with the flow every week.
Okay, just go with the flow every week. All righty. So, Cooper, let's go a little bit further now. Cooper, who are some of your friends at the racetrack?
I usually hang out with Jack Frazier and I get advice on car setup and how the track is, what line to run from Nick Fossey.
Okay. So they help you out quite a bit. Okay. And they're your friends. Who is all on your racing crew?
It's mainly just my dad, my mom, some family members, and then I get helped out with the Fosseys and their crew.
Okay. Alrighty. Very cool. Very cool. So, Cooper, is the Tulsa shootout on your radar eventually?
Yeah, we're planning on going to the Tulsa shootout at the end of the racing season coming up.
Okay. So, Cooper, so what do you like to do when you're not at the racetrack?
Over the summer, I usually play baseball, and then I just started bowling in the winter.
Very cool. Very cool. So when it comes to your bowling, this is a question I didn't get a chance to ask you the last time. When it comes to bowling, what's your favorite type of bowling ball to throw?
There's a lot of different ones out there. It just depends on how the oil is and everything, what the pattern is.
Okay. Do you have a pretty good hook shot on your when you throw it?
Yeah, I have a pretty decent hook shot.
Okay. Very cool. So Cooper, let's talk a little bit further now. So what grade are you in now, Cooper?
I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade. Okay, very cool. So Cooper, who is your racing hero?
I really look up forward to Brad Sweet and Tony Stewart.
Brad Sweet and Tony Stewart. Okay. Have you met both of them guys?
I met Brad Sweet at Ransomville Speedway for the
Okay.
World of Outlaw race.
Okay. So Cooper, being you haven't had a chance to meet Tony Stewart yet, very, very awesome guy. When racing night's done, he loves talking to people and stuff like that. So that's a good one to choose to talk to too. Tony Stewart. So Cooper. So talking, okay, but we talked about your racing career. So do you have anything you want to ask me, Cooper?
How did you get your nickname?
How did I get my nickname? My nickname actually came from the guy that created the racing show. He says to me when we got ready to do this, he says, I like your sense of style. You're the blue jeans, cowboy boots guy that wears, when we're at the racetrack, you wear a racing hooded sweatshirt, racing t-shirt, racing hat, and a lot of times you rock a pair of Oakley sunglasses to go with it. He says, we'll just kind of call you the Full Throttle rock star from, so that's kind of stuck from here on out. Yeah. Yeah. So Cooper, do you have anything out there you want to say to the kids to help get them in a race car?
Not really, just really take chances and just be friendly to people at the track.
Okay. Alrighty. So Cooper, thank you very much for being on the racing show with me tonight, talking to us about your racing career. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for helping you out?
Well, thanks to my parents for the opportunity and everything. Thanks for everybody at the track, the Fossies, and everybody at the track that's helped us out.
Okay, so Cooper, when you get ready to kick off your racing season, can I have you on here to kind of preview us of what your season's going to be like?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, before I let you go, Cooper, could you teach me something about your micro sprint because I don't know a lot about micro sprints. Could you teach me a little something about that?
And what would you like to learn?
Oh, okay. Um, oh, motor wise, okay. What do you have to do year in and year out when you begin the year? Do you have to tear the motor down, or how does that work?
Yeah, at the end of the season, we usually get the motor rebuilt.
Okay. So what's that process like? Do you just take it out of the car and then put it in a crate and ship it, or how does that work?
So we take the motor out of the car, just drain all the fluids and everything out of it. Then we drive it to Mike Fossey. He's doing our motors now.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Cooper, what type of chassis do you run anyway, before I let you go?
I run a hyper chassis.
Hyper chassis. Very, very cool. With that being said, Cooper, I will call you in a few minutes to thank you in person for being on the racing show with me tonight, talking to us about your racing career. But I will let you step out, Cooper. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's how this is going to go down. Some racing news for you out of the racing world for us. Here's how it's going to go. Okay. NASCAR. First off, we're going to start off with NASCAR. Tony Stewart not only is a car owner, but he also owns a world sprint car team. Plus, he owns an NHRA drag racing team. But then he also is going to be a TV announcer too on the Fox Sports channel. So Fox Sports, when it comes to the first NASCAR races of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But then also David Gravel announced his new paint scheme going into the 2022 World of Outlaws season coming up. It's going to be black, white, and a little bit of orange. Not as much orange as it has been. So it's going to be kind of cool to see where that goes. Now, let's move into the last part of the racing news for it. Okay, Fairmont Raceway in Fairmont, Minnesota, has decided to, instead of trying to work things out IMCA wise and figure something out IMCA wise, which I don't understand why they can't work something out IMCA wise. I don't know. But when it comes to IMCA, they in Fairmont Raceway, they decided to go USRA racing. So USRA is going to be their sanctioning body. But then also Fairmont Raceway is accustomed to running Fridays and Saturday nights. Well, now they're going to be running Wednesday nights instead. I don't know how that's going to work out because a lot of your drivers work during the week and it's kind of hard for them to get off work early to come to the track. So we'll see what happens there. But also, ladies and gentlemen, too, coming up with Fairmont Raceway news and stuff like that. Zach from Zach's Trailer Service in Sherburne, Minnesota, he is the new track promoter at Fairmont. So hopefully Zach can succeed. I would love to see him succeed. Also out of Fairmont Raceway, Parker Larson and the 18L Hobby Stock team will not be racing this year. They are taking the year off. So definitely keep an eye on, see what's going to happen there with things. But ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, you guys have a good night. Catch you later. Before I let you go, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification button on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show #1 on YouTube. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Catch you later on another episode of the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show #1 on YouTube. And also, if you'd like to sponsor the racing show, send me an email at jjnolan151@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at 712-209-7138. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.